You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 79. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnhart, super sidekick.
All right. So today,
for everything else,
well,
be
sure,
a super sidekick.
Right. So today we got another great show. And
fantastic show.
Oh, good. Yes, I had a feeler that Jeff's gonna be having a good time, and next week probably even more so. But we'll get to that later. Let's get going. The first book is Marvel Tales number 26, and the lead story is the final chapter, reprinted from Amazing Spider-Man number 33, written by Stan Lee, with art by Steve Ditko.
Isn't this the most famous one of Spider-Man? This might be the most important issue.
It's a turning point in the book, and it's pretty important. Spidey has just come off an epic battle with Doc Ock, and I think Doc Ock got away, and Spidey is trapped under this rubble.
He's trapped under this massive piece of machinery, which is...
And the room is flooding and stuff, too.
And he has to get this serum to save his Aunt May, who is, of course, dying again. But it works this time. Yeah. I don't mind the trope of Aunt May dying. They just use it too much. She's already sick and all this stuff. And again, we get this in a little bit, too.
It would have been great if he actually made it out alive but didn't save her. Didn't make it in time to save her.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been. These are the golden age of Spider-Man, I think. They're just wonderful.
No, it's terrific. The Silver Age is the best period for Spidey. Absolutely. The 60s is magic.
But machinery, but it's a good...
You know, Ditko's machines are good too, but they're different. They're blockier and bulkier, but they've got kind of almost a Frank Lloyd Wright kind of look to his machines.
Yeah. But you just feel the weight.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
And he's trapped underneath it. He's got to lift it up, and he's got to think about what it means to be a superhero, and everything's riding on him, and he's failed his uncle, so now he's got to save his aunt.
I mean, this might be the moment where comic books are elevated to the literary art form, like to serious stuff.
At least, Marvel comics of the 60s in general, but here is a prime example of that.
That's a damn good story.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Hey, Aunt May's dying again. She is why our medical system's so messed up. We spent all this money saving Aunt May.
And Parker Care.
Yeah. She needs ISO 36. Stolen by Doc Ock. Doc Ock, excuse me.
Doc Ock? Not Doc Ock?
Doc Ock, yeah. No. Yeah, it should be Doc Ock, but... No, Doc Octopus.
Octopus, Doc Ock.
Yeah. Or it could be OP, too. Alright, never mind.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's struggling against the machinery, trying to lift it up. This reminds me, this is why it's rings so true, of every run I've ever been on. I'm trying to get through. I gotta make it, and everything's depending on me, and you want to give up, but you can't. And
when you were in the Army, they make you run a lot?
Oh, man, that's why I got out of the Army.
I'm tired of running and getting up early.
I don't mind getting up early, but I hated running. It's just 2 miles of I just hated it.
Sure.
All right.
That sounds pretty brutal. I mean...
yeah, I'm not a runner. I can do push-ups and sit-ups.
There's better ways to get exercise.
Yeah, it's one of the worst ways to get exercise. But,
that's why young people get married. That's all the exercise you need, baby. Anyway, budding. So...
All right. So he escapes, and then the machinery, and water comes pouring in, and he just rides with it.
Yeah.
And then he gets attacked by these minions.
They're Doc Ock's henchmen, yeah.
And they look great.
Yeah. Ditko takes the time to have cool henchman costumes.
And it's very simple, but it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. It's just purple costumes, and they just look kick-ass. Mm-hmm. And the fight with them is great.
Yep.
It takes Spidey, half the issue to get out of the machinery, which is very unusual. And then he's got to fight all these guys. No rest.
And he's tired, so he just lets them pound on him.
Yeah.
Which is rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
So,
but
the Muhammad Ali thing was you just let someone pound on you and wear themselves out and pow.
But you look at this issue, Spidey is running the gauntlet. This is the test of his mettle as a hero. He's wiped out. It's a race against time. Man, this issue has it all, baby.
Yeah. All right, so he beats up those guys finally.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. I mean, of him coming back and after all the odds against him. So.
Yeah.
Oh, so he makes it with the serum, and he takes a blood sample from himself, and I didn't understand why he needed a blood sample, why he couldn't tell the doctor, and he had a blood sample.
I can't remember. It's been a couple weeks for me since I read this. So
Yeah, well,
we didn't record because of Easter, so
they didn't really explain it. So
that's okay.
and another question is why do you call Frederick Foswell? Why don't you just call he called the police on the minions who have been knocked out, and he calls police and he calls Foswell to come down and make a story about it.
You know why? Because he can't stick around and gift wrap these guys to the police, and Foswell's the guy working the crime beat. He's also the stoolie Patch.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Patch.
Yeah.
I'll be dang.
So that's why. So it makes sense. And Jameson's grinning about something. I think he probably thinks Spider-Man's dead or something.
Yeah. But okay. So Spidey doesn't know Foswell is the.
I don't think he knows Foswell is Patch yet.
Or isn't Foswell the crime?
He's not the crime master. He was the big man, but he got caught and went to prison. He reformed, and Jameson, having a heart, gave him his old job back.
No, but I thought he was a crime master after that.
Nope. Crime master was a different guy. Peter thought Foswell might have been the crime master because he had been the big man.
Oh, okay.
So
He's doing him a favor.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Betty is having trouble because she remembers her brother dying.
Yeah, Bennett died at the hands of Dr. Octopus's men. And he was a risk taker and a gambler, and that's why she breaks up with Peter, because he's a risk taker too. She doesn't know he's Spidey, but he just can't be. And there's a beautiful panel. This is Ditko. The center panel of this page. Betty is thinking about Bennett and thinking about Peter, and she just can't handle that. She wants a nice, quiet life, and that's why she ends up with Ned Leeds. But they later got divorced. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've always liked Betty.
Yeah,
Betty.
She's great.
She's not the sexiest, but she is the Marianne of the Spider-Man world.
Yeah.
And
I loved her on the Spider-Man, the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, because she was Jameson's secretary in that.
Right.
And other than Aunt May, they were the only real supporting characters.
Oh.
It was pretty thin cast for those shows.
Yeah. I remember enjoying great.
Oh, it's a great cartoon.
And
they
great
nailed
theme song.
Oh, yeah. And they nailed Jameson to a T. It was just terrific. It's a great show. But Spidey saves Aunt May, and
then there's this irony of, that kid has a really nice board. It's, to me, too bad there's not many other men like that, teenagers like that.
The doctor, Aunt May's doctor saying that. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Instead of some mysterious, unknown thrill seeker like Spider-Man.
Yeah. This guy's been reading a lot of Jameson's editorials. But yeah, our next story in this book
is, oh no, it's Paste Pot Pete. That's not what they say, but
it's what you say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Paste Pot Pete looks cool in this story. This is when he changes his costume and he looks better.
From
but yeah, it's
Nick stupidity to
Let me back. I need to give the credits for the story. Hang on a second.
Okay.
So yeah, this story is Paste Pot Pete. It's the Thing and Human Torch, and it's a reprint from Strange Tales number 124. Written by Stan Lee, with art by Dick Ayers, and inked by Paul Reinman. Now go to your heart's content. Okay.
Oh.
Paste Pot Pete gets out of jail, right?
Right. We got Torches at home, and the Thing he ignores Thing knocking on the door, so Thing picks up the house. Which would mess up the whole house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good thing to do to a house.
Well,
you got electricity and plumbing.
Well, the whole deal about Ben is he's a bull in China shop a lot of times. Like, come on, you punk kid.
Yeah. Well, I would, if I can do someone like that, I would come to the door.
Right?
Well,
also, it's a comic book, and we want to have the conflict, especially between heroes, because that's the Marvel Comics way. So,
and it's over the top this time, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but this is an above average Torch and Thing story.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so Baseball Pete, and
And he redesigns his whole costume and his weaponry. He looks pretty cool now.
oh, I don't know about that.
What comparatively to what he looked like before?
I thought he was least interesting. Now he kind of looks like Ant-Man in a bad day. Oh, well, he uses his scientific prowess to make better paste.
Right?
And
he's got like glue for his shoes and stuff.
oh, yeah.
I wonder how he gets it unstuck though.
Wait, why don't he invent a laser gun or a cubic zirconium bomb or something?
I think having glue shoes to stick to walls is a little less practical than just having magnetic boots.
Well, yeah, but what...
But it's not keeping with the glue theme.
yeah, we gotta keep with that.
Yeah.
But most walls aren't made of metal, though.
That's true, so he can stick to any surface with his glue gun.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe he got solvent.
Yeah, no, it's a new one. He shaves his face, and then the world trembles. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I like all of his stuff, but the final costume, he's got this big breastplate that looks like, I don't know, a piece of toast or something,
Okay.
and that looks bad. I don't know if you gotta go with paste, everything's cool. God, man, but so Torch goes bowling. So,
Yeah,
yay.
yay!
Yeah, and Thing is flying his cool little.
Is it one of a section of the Fantastic Car, or is it a Fantastic Car?
Oh,
Pogo plane, one of those?
yeah.
Excuse me.
I don't know. And it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
So Baseball Pete stops him in midair, and there's a big fight. And Torch goes bowling. Yay!
With Dory?
Yeah, Joey has that awful. I hate the bouffant hairdos of the early 60s.
Yeah, it looks okay in a comic, but if you look at somebody who had that hair, awful.
Actually, I think both is bad. I mean, I wonder if I saw a real life girl with it on, but it doesn't translate well to photos and comic books.
Oh,
This doesn't look attractive.
Yeah.
But that's just.
Well, I don't. I just think I look at like Lois Lane's, Silver Age hairstyle or Supergirl. I'm like, God, it looks so frumpy and kind of like not very feminine. It's just short. That short hair. Like,
I mean, short hair can look gorgeous, and
but it's
but
few and far between. That's
yeah.
Long flowing locks are always better.
Yeah.
If you got a choice, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking as a bald man, yes, long.
No, but I mean, when you see a woman, it's just like even a plain girl can look beautiful if they've got that hair,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Anyway,
Right.
so Torch goes bowling,
Yeah.
and the Thing is fighting Paste-Pot Pete.
Yeah, and he gets his butt kicked.
The Thing does?
Yeah, he gets his hand stuck to the wall, so he loses to Baseball Pete.
Right.
And so the torch comes down, and he gets stuck too. And so he tells Thing, hey, don't worry about the paste, just knock down the walls. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking, I was like, well, okay, yeah, if the substance you're glued to is softer than the glue, of course you're going to be able to rip it off any second. If it was like pasted to like a steel wall, that might be a problem. But this is just a regular like plaster wall.
I think it's concrete.
But still,
Yeah.
So yeah, it does look more like concrete. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But these are always second rate anyway. I don't know why we're spending too much time on it, but man, he takes off his helmet, and Baseball Pete's got a beetle cut.
Of course. They're like, I think they like the idea of the glue theme villain, but like, we gotta clean this up and make it look cooler, a little more hip. So they're trying to make Paste-Pot Pete a cool
Not
villain.
a bad looking guy. No, he was god awful before.
Yeah, he looked like the worst beatnik ever. Before. So.
And he was.
Yeah. Well, and I think they've continually tried to revamp him. Once they got into the fight before, he was, I'm not Paste-Pot Pete anymore. It's the Trapster now.
Has any other villain gone through so many changes? Especially in his. He's not a huge villain,
Right. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anybody. I'm sure they're out there.
Actually, Dr. Doom has done nothing. I mean, he is what he was at the very beginning. I don't think there's been any changes on. I mean, he's changed his mind and all that, but he's the same Doctor.
Basically,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just the armor and the technology
Yeah.
and the hatred for Reed Richards.
And the King of Latveria.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting.
I think the best villains kind of stay in that.
Yeah. Luther has changed a lot
Yeah, but I think Luthor's change has been kind of organic over time, and it's worked.
It kind of makes sense.
I think the '80s revamp of him, where he was just a businessman, and like pre-Crisis, he was awesome. Like, okay, he was the prison suit gray Luthor who was building robots and things, awesome. Or power suit Luthor in the '70s and the early '80s, awesome. Or his cool like '70s super villain costume, like Legion of Doom Luthor. That was really cool.
I don't remember what that one was.
It was the purple suit with the popped collar, but not the power suit. And he had the kryptonite in the gloves.
Oh, I've seen the power suit. Never seen a red one of those.
I like the power suit. It's cool, but it's so funny because his face is exposed. So
Yeah.
isn't
I
that?
want to see us Luther.
Well, right. I get that. But there's not even like a pop-o-matic bubble to cover it up to protect him.
They had a conversation. We need to cover his face up. No, but then it's going to be harder to draw. And so you know who he is.
Well, then it just looks like the Titanium Man from Marvel Comics if you covered his face.
Yeah.
So I get it. But anyway. Hey, you want to talk about the mighty Thor?
I always do.
Yeah. So, all right, yes, this next story is called The Vengeance of the Thunder God. It's a reprinted from Journey into Mystery, number 115, and written by Stan Lee, with art by Jack Kirby, inked by Frank Giacoia.
Funny credits. Story by Stan Lee, Sage of the Marvel Age. Penciling by Jack Kirby, The Rage of the Marvel Age. Inking by Frankie Way, For His Wage in the Marvel Age. Lettering by Artie Simic, From His Cage in the Marvel Age.
Oh, yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah. And Frankie Ray is a pseudonym that Frank Giacoia used sometimes. Okay. So that's what.
Why? Why would you?
I don't know. I think I can't remember. He's
ashamed of being.
I don't think it's that. I think he's a pretty prolific inker, and I think he may have been working at DC National also. And sometimes you want to not get in trouble with like, hey, you're working over at National too? Hey, I thought, we had a thing. So people do it. People do it.
Yeah.
Denny O'Neil did it when he was doing some work for. I think he did a little work for Marvel when he first started out, but he also was doing some work from Charlton. But he used the pseudonym Sergius O'Shaughnessy at Charlton.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
Hey, Loki's got a new helmet. I like the old one better.
Yeah, with the horns. This is Loki's kind of mini winged helmet.
Yeah, the horns are almost too much, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think honestly the only thing that was like about the horned helmet is like the ponytail. I'm like no, because I can't believe there isn't a panel of some Thor grabbing him by that ponytail and swinging him around.
Yeah,
because I think it came out the back of his helmet too. So this is okay. I mean, it looks great. The art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is great because Thor is on the trail of the absorbing man, but he's fought Loki, and
Loki stole Jane.
Right, and Odin's gonna have him go to the trial of the gods because he's mad that he keeps trying to be with this mortal chick, and Thor.
Odin is right. Mortal chicks are vulnerable.
Yeah,
and he's absolutely correct. So now Thor is helpless because someone can take his mortal girlfriend.
Well, why do you think Superman was always kind of like, I can't be with you, Lois? I mean, at least in the Silver Age, it was always kind of like, you and Lana want me to choose between you, and I can't choose either. He never says it. Because, yeah, they're vulnerable to his deadly enemies, and how could he really, have a life with them? Man of steel, woman of tissue. He's the only woman in the world he can be with is Wonder Woman.
Right.
And that's how they're doing it in current comics, and it's smart.
Yeah.
So,
the physical act of love would be deadly to.
Yeah.
And a science fiction writer wrote a paper on it.
Yeah, I know. It was in like the very thing I said, Man of Steel, Woman of Tissue.
Is that the name of it?
I think that's. I think it was an article in Playboy or Penthouse or something like that. And Kurt Swan actually illustrated it if memory serves me correctly.
That'd be cool.
But but yes, and a similar thing with Jane. So Odin says you're going to go to the trial of gods because of this. Loki says lies to Odin, said that Thor was doing something up to no good, and Thor begs Loki or Odin said, please I got some unfinished business on Earth. Give me 48 hours to deal with this, and I will return. You have my word. And so he's got to go after the Absorbing Man, who is the criminal Carl Crusher Creel, that Loki has given superpowers. He and his Wrecking Ball, his ball and chain, are imbued with the power of absorption. So anything he touches, he can have the properties of, like rock, stone, wood, whatever. And so Thor's got to go after the Absorbing Man, and that's where we are. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Creel's or Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man, is really ugly.
Yeah, he is.
In a cool way. So Thor and Loki are fighting, and Thor gets him down, is about to smash the crap out of him, and Odin stops us.
Right.
So he's got to have a trial of the gods.
Yeah.
Oh my!
It sounds serious.
We have the Nordic mythology,
and
the comics, big time. I think that would be the best one. I think it's big because it works well in comics. I'm not sure that you could do the same for the Greek and Roman one or the Egyptian one.
Sure.
And we have Hercules. And that's one of them. But as an ongoing, we are really into the Nordic mythology with Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of stuff. We're in Valhalla and the Bifrost and everything, and it works.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the Thor comic books, but I'm not sure you could replicate that with the Greek and Roman one or the Egyptian.
It seems like before the Mighty Thor, before Marvel did Thor, when comics played with mythology, it was always the Greco-Roman. Superman fights some guy who says he's a Greek god, or or different things like that. Or every comic publisher that ever existed had a hero named Hercules. Pretty much.
Or Samson.
Oh yeah, seriously. And they're just kind of a generic strongman hero. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see them go into the level of depth with that mythology. But then you have Kirby creating his own mythology with the new gods, and then when he returned to Marvel after going to DC, he did the Eternals. So and they're kind of a trilogy, really, even though they're different companies.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, the Egyptian one's kind of weird. There's some magical stuff in the Greco-Roman. The Medusa's head and the shield. And it'd be interesting, but it's interesting that only the Norse one really took off.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they tried.
I mean, Marvel really just took the time and went in depth with it. And they must have believed in, I think, a vision that Kirby had with it, because except for a while in the earlier run, where Don Heck, I think, came in and took over for a while, they brought back Kirby, and he stuck on Thor for a long time. Most books, they would have Kirby start it and do it for a while, and then get something else started, because he was the guy. But I think only really Thor and Fantastic Four did Kirby have like real long runs at Marvel with, and then Captain America.
All right.
But yeah.
Yep. Okay. But that's cool. I think that I would like to dress up like Thor, but I'm not sure I want to dress up like Hercules, because you're wearing a short skirt.
Yeah.
And the Egyptians one's kind of weird. You're marrying your sister of la 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 la.
Yeah, it's strange.
So Crusher Creel, goes to a middle class suburban house.
It's a home invasion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it had a couple, 3-4 panels of him trying different stuff. The wife throws
like a crystal glass or something.
And he turns into glass, and then he touches a silk curtain, and he turns into, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, he's real shimmery, and you have to think, like, could you just burn him up when he's
right?
So, but yeah.
Yeah, and he's a lower class person.
Yeah.
He's working class, but he has animal cunning, which I kind of like. He's
He's somewhere in the Max Cady territory.
Yeah.
Remember the villain from the original Cape Fear?
Ah, yes.
Man,
Yes.
although he's not smart like that guy.
Right.
Man, Robert Mitchum is probably the most menacing movie villain of all time in that movie.
Yeah.
He's terrifying, and he's just a guy.
You seen
Night of the Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. That character, I think it's like his warm-up gig to do Cape Fear, because they're 10 years apart. And Night of the Hunter is a great movie. Great. But Cape Fear, I'm like, on the edge of my seat. It's uncomfortable.
Actually, yeah, and that's why I don't like it. Is too real and too scary. And yikes. But
yeah, I mean, Max Cady is a man with zero morals, but he's got this creepy charm and cunning and like, ooh. So anyway,
all right.
Crusher Creel has shades of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Absorbing Man has generally been a pawn of other supervillains because he's just a thug, you know. And he's a pawn of Loki here.
Yeah. They got a massive battle, and
so Thor catches up to him.
Yeah, and he gets knocked down, and he turns into Earth, and Earth has iron and rock and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then Thor says, "Give up," and then he just makes a nuclear explosion or something and turns him into helium gas.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they.
And I think
it was like a nuclear explosion, but I'm not sure what the.
I think what he did was he gave him more power than he could absorb, or transmuted some elements and forced him to turn into helium, something like that.
Yeah.
And so he floats off into space or whatever, but of course he'll return. But this is the kind of ending where you're like, well, do people like this villain? Are we going to bring him back or what?
And they will.
And then Thor is going to head off to Asgard and undergo the trial of the gods. And it's going to be heavy.
Yep, I'm sure it will be.
All right, so our next issue, we've got Marvel Tales number 29. And boy, this is going to be like the Green Goblin hour. Because the lead story is How Green Was My Goblin from Amazing Spider-Man number 39. Written by Stan Lee, with art by John Romita, and inked by Mike Esposito.
Yeah, How Green Was My Goblin, which is
How Green Was My Valley.
Yeah, which beat Citizen Kane, the best movie in 1939.
Really?
Very good film.
I haven't seen it. Isn't that the one with Roddy McDowall as a kid?
Yeah,
movie? Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, I always liked him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The Goblin.
Yep. We see the Goblin getting dressed up.
Yeah.
And I always like seeing the Goblin's mask empty. It's really cool.
Yeah, when he's got it just hanging on the hook, and you got him behind some view screen or in the shadows, and you don't know who he is. In the course of this issue, we will find out. The reveal will take place. But
and the origin story, and let's see. Goblin's got all these goblin things.
He's got the Goblin glider. He's got the pumpkin bombs. He's ready to go kick Spider-Man's ass.
Right. But Spider-Man has a cold, which is cool.
Yeah,
and that's why we like Spider-Man. He's got weaknesses.
All right.
So we see Harry and Norman Osborn.
Yes.
And what's up with Norman and Harry's hair?
It's weird. I think it's a weird way to draw wavy or close to the head curly hair. I'm not sure, but
man, unattractive.
Yeah, it's bad. But Norman Osborn, we're really seeing him, and he's a real cold fish as a father, but he wasn't always that way.
Right. Oh, actually, he's worse than he was, I think.
Yeah, he was bad, but then he got worse. That's what it was. It wasn't like, Anyway, you feel so bad for Harry, though.
Yeah, Harry's not feeling well, and Peter's not feeling well, and they get together. And they didn't like each other, but now they do.
Yeah, they kind of have a moment. Peter's kind of like, I'm an orphan, and I know how crummy stuff is. Whatever. So, and Flash Thompson sees this, and it's like, maybe Puny Parker isn't such a d-bag after all.
Right.
Which, hey, this is part of that growth we see with Flash.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's not just like the jerk for like ever. But yeah, so Spider-Man gets Peter.
Can I have a segue?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Well, the big news in Archie comics, Archie's going to die.
Well, it's not in the regular quote unquote continuity.
Yeah.
It's in the Afterlife with Archie zombie thing. But what
But
about
they
it?
did some cool covers
yeah.
done by it, and by different artists, and they're really cool. So
I might actually get the trade paperback of that when that comes out, The Afterlife with Archie.
yeah, I might want to read it. I'm not sure I'm going to pay money for
Well,
it.
I'll get it, and then you
Okay.
can read it.
All right.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. Spider-Man swings into action. He sees on the top of a building these gangsters took hostages.
Yeah.
So he comes in and beats them up.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for him.
Yeah, this is a trap from the Goblin.
Mhm.
They're his men.
Yeah, and they bash him with some kind of
Oh,
gas
this
powder.
is where Goblin gives him that stuff that's supposed to like weaken his spider sense.
How does the Goblin know he has spider sense?
Well, knowing that's one thing, but how does he know a way to dull that?
Yeah, how does he know that the spider sense is caused by radioactivity or whatever? Yeah, and sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have said it will dull his mind without him knowing about it, and that should have worked. Something like
Right.
that, instead of.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he don't say, "Hey, one of my senses is spidey sense, and I can wait."
Right.
It's
just like in Superman the movie, he does the interview with Lois, and then it's like, yeah, I can't see through lead, and and then Lex Luthor uses that stuff against them. But this is a big plot hole. You're right. But this is a trope of supervillainy, sending the henchmen in to soften you up first, and then coming to deliver the coup de grace.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's cool. I haven't seen many cool advertisements. So
House ads or anything like
no
that?
house ads of interest this time.
well, when they're there, we'll talk about them. So
Actually, in the DC, there is one, I think. So.
okay,
All right.
I think DC has got some of those most fun house ads.
Yeah.
So Peter's going. What? He's got some stuff at the Bugle. He's talking to Ned Leeds.
Yeah, and Betty's missing.
Yeah, and he decides that Ned's not a jerk after all. And
Right. All right. So, but at this time, the Green Goblin finds out that Spider-Man
is Peter Parker. Yeah, and that is like, holy crap! He knows the secret ID. The arch enemy knows the secret ID.
Yeah, and is this the first time this really happened?
Yeah, I think so.
In comic book history?
Yeah, there's always been like trying to find out, or all on the cusp of, and then something happens.
And they found out about the super punch he forgets or something.
Yeah, or something. But yeah, this is the first time like, oh, I know who you are.
Yeah, and they find out that Aunt May again is sick and she cannot be shocked or anything. So
Right, and so Spidey's not getting into costume, and so he's trying to fight the Goblin just as Parker outside of his house.
And he forgets it doesn't have
The web shooter.
Yeah.
So but this is a cool fight. The Goblin does capture him.
Mm-hmm. And really, and there's this huge smoke filled in the front yard. So Aunt May thinks it's fog. Can't see what's happening.
I guess the Goblin glider must run on diesel.
No, it's some kind of bomb, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, he puts in
What do you think the Goblin glider sounds like? But it's like a lawnmower, huh?
Yeah, I think it.
But it sounds like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like to have one.
Yeah.
So okay. So we get to the end of the issue, and it's Norm Osborn is the Green Goblin.
Yeah, how arrogant is he? He captures Spider-Man, takes him back to his lair, and then unmasks himself. Because he's going to kill him, right?
Mhm.
That's the plan, anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
This is a big moment. Big moment.
Mm-hmm. Battery-powered bats. I was not impressed with
Oh,
that.
part of his weaponry. I
Yeah.
always liked the pumpkin bombs. That was, a good weapon of his.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
So yeah, we're moving right on to the next part of that.
Yeah, which is the end of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, and the end of the Green
Thanks for
Goblin.
spoiling it, dude.
That the end of the Green Goblin is a reprint from Amazing Spider-Man number 40, and written again by Stan Lee with art by John Romita and inked by Mike Esposito.
Yeah. Okay, we got a monologue.
Okay, you're monologuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where we get the origin, and this is great.
Mm-hmm.
This is great.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, just give the origin.
That's Spider-Man is trapped with cables, and he tries to get a Green Goblin to talk and talk and talk. So,
While he's trying to slowly work his way out of it.
right. Mm-hmm.
So he eggs him on, and he's like, "You don't know anything about me, you know."
Yeah.
And so then he spills the beans.
Right. He sends Professor Strom to the Hokey, and then uses...
That's right. Professor Strom was Norman Osborn's business partner, and Osborn decides, I'm just going to set this guy up, send him to jail, and just take all his inventions and take the money and all the credit for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like a jerk.
Yeah. He uses some kind of formula and explodes, and he gets strength.
Yeah.
And so then he turns into Green Goblin.
Because it's kind of the catalyst for him becoming schizophrenic.
Right. And he'll make it his favorite color, green. But the color in the formula was green as well.
Right.
So I guess was the favorite color green before the explosion of the formula?
I don't know. It's so funny. I see Harry wearing the green all the time. I don't see Norman wearing it. You know?
You're right.
But see, if Norman was wearing green suits all the time, do you think people might have caught on?
Right.
But
yeah. All right. Well, so Peter's late because he's to home, and May's worried about him.
and Anna Watson is there trying to console her, and but yeah, Peter is still tied up and still getting the origin of the Goblin.
Yeah, and we've seen this one thing where he escaped, and
Yeah, we're kind of getting a recap of that fight at the Spider-Man club
mhm.
that Flash Thompson put together, and
I
where the
think we
Thor
did this
showed
last
up
time with him.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
or a couple episodes ago, I should say.
Mhm.
Definitely wasn't a couple of weeks. But yeah.
But the last time we did this,
Was where the Goblin was going to
Crime
fight
Master.
the Crime Master,
Mhm.
and we find out how that resolved. The criminals sided with the Goblin, and the
Mhm.
Crime Master was defeated or whatever. So,
uh,
but then now we're up to speed, and Spidey gets loose, and the fight is on.
yeah, it's got pumpkin bombs are flying everywhere, and let's see.
The thing is, they're indoors, so
Right.
Spidey has the advantage. You know,
Yeah,
the
mhm.
Goblin can't fly. 'Cause doesn't he get knocked off his Goblin glider?
Right. And he tries to electrocute Spidey. Great fight. It's no use in telling you about everything about this.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, here's the
He was remote
battery-powered
controlled
bats
bats. Yeah.
swirling around my head, fluttering across my eyes. Can't see. Need to brush them away. Lame.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But
The fully automated Goblin cannon's kind of cool, but it looks like a heat lamp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has that cannon, but he doesn't get to use it really.
Well, yeah, he uses it okay, but it smacks him, and he gets.
Yeah.
And luckily, he gets amnesia.
Yeah, Spider-Man beats him up, and the place is on fire. But he unmasks him, and Norman Osborn doesn't remember being the Green Goblin. So he undresses him.
And burns, and we see the Goblin mask is kind of cool on fire.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So is this the end of the Green Goblin? Well, that's the
Indeed.
story, but no.
Yeah.
But that's what it's called, but no. So it's interesting. I mean, when we saw the whole thing about what about Norman Osborn being a widower and being a
Mhm.
crappy absentee father, and poor Harry and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's talk about Doctor Strange.
Yeah, let there be victory.
Yes, reprinted from Strange Tales number 141, written by Stan Lee, art of course by Steve Ditko.
We've seen some of this series.
Yeah,
Because it
it's
came with the girl watching and
Clea,
there was this fight and
yeah. So Mordo and Dormammu are arguing, and Doctor Strange is gonna have a duel with a Dormammu.
Yeah. Doctor Strange should battle like Mr. Average and then like go to the mall. And, by the 7 rings of Forever 21,
Yeah.
the realm of Southgate. The hell shall be banished to the lowest depths of Hot Topics.
Oh,
Because
I love that you planned that. That's a very well written joke.
But the thing is,
By the 7 rings of Ragador, the dread Dormammu will be.
right.
Yeah.
The thing is that this is Doctor Strange lives in these places, and it's his home. But it'd be interesting for him to fight fight someone who is average or normal, but with some kind of other superpowers. Because it's
You never see Doctor Strange fight Electro.
Yeah.
Because it would be over in like a minute.
Right.
He always has to fight.
Electro would win. No.
But the thing is,
Pace by P would kick his butt.
yes. I would love the one panel fight with Doctor Strange and Stiltman.
Yeah.
But
man.
But yeah, it seems like he always has to fight somebody magic.
And in a magical land, and everything is and
yeah.
okay. I think he's cool. I think Dormammu,
Yeah.
if I'm saying his name correctly, is cool. The flaming head, and he's always got his mouth way open.
And he's super evil,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. And he rules a whole dimension.
Yeah.
Which
a dimension of evil.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So
Doctor Strange is barely beaten, but he's faking it.
Right.
It's another rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
And Dormammu is saying, I won. But
is that a Marvel Comics cliche, the rope-a-dope?
Maybe so.
I don't know.
That's an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure Superman's faked that too. So
yeah.
Let's see. Mordo helped out Dormammu.
Baron Mordo was helping Dormammu, yeah.
And Dormammu got mad, so he banished Mordo and Mordo, whatever his name.
Well, remember Mordru? He's like the villain from the Legion against the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. Okay,
So
that's what's got me messed up.
Yeah.
But I always like seeing Dormammu. He's always dramatic.
Oh yeah, he's always super pissed.
Yeah, and I bet even when he goes make macaroni and cheese, it looks dramatic. His mouth is always, his head's always on fire. It's he's got a cool helmet.
He always looks so evil. And is it a helmet or is it like rings of like magic and fire and stuff? Like I don't even know.
It looks like a stylized, very light helmet.
It's like a light wrought iron or something with flames going through it.
He's like the fireplace thing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no one will come as Dormammu to Comic-Con.
How could you possibly do that? It'd be hard.
You could do it, but it looks stupid.
Exactly.
Unless you had flame all the time or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, the Doctor Strange movie is probably going to be happening.
So
we'll see how Dormammu looks.
Yeah.
No, I think John Hamm from Mad Men is going to be Doctor Strange. That's so exciting.
Okay. I dread. I don't know. Could be.
You dread lots of things.
Yes, I do, and I'm usually right. Okay, they have these claws he has are stupid looking.
Oh, that's right. They're gonna fight. They're gonna basically have like the gang member knife fight with these weird claws.
Yeah. But good fight though.
Because they're bound together by the wrist and then they fight with the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange fakes him out and puts his Dormammu's hands together and he blasts his belt and wins.
Yay!
Mm-hmm. And makes him swear, and this is the important one.
This is great.
He swears to leave Earth alone.
He'll never menace Earth. So what can he do, though? Or he can never invade Earth again. So he always has to act through familiars or allies like Mordo. He finds ways to circumvent it. And this is the thing, Darkseid from DC Comics, he would do this, I mean, that's later, but he would find ways, how can I fight New Genesis without... violating the pact.
Yeah.
And so he used Earth as a front against them. That's why we have Intergang and all that. So,
Yeah, speaking of gangs, this other gang, he puts a bomb in Doctor Strange's...
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, puts it in a fire thing. I don't know if I'd want to put an explosive into something on fire.
Well, it's probably like magic fire, like it's not really burning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's this big Vizier or whatever, or Brazier. Brazier, thank you. Yeah, that's a little similar to something else. But yeah, and the bomb is in there. So it's a cliffhanger, but yeah, somebody's bombing Doctor Strange's house. So
yeah,
so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's odd that he wouldn't have some kind of something against that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is all this Marvel stuff we've been reading, with the exception of that Paste Pot Pete story. This is all like major classic stories.
Yeah,
they're all really important
to the canon and all that.
Oh yeah. So let's go. The next and our last book that we've got to talk about today. We got a bunch of stories in it though. It's Super DC Giant number 24, and it's all Supergirl stories, and these are all interconnected too, which is great.
Yeah, Supergirl is every girl. You know, you can. She doesn't have troubles that Spider-Man has, but she's got some things. Supergirl problems.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
her hair is kind of. You're right. It's kind of blah.
Yeah,
especially. Oh, her.
Linda Lee's hair is even worse, I think.
She doesn't have the pigtails. I've always liked pigtails.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they changed it. She started with the pigtails and they changed it. So, but let me.
Got older and she got a mother.
When she got adopted, she changed wigs. Yeah. So yeah, because she was Linda Lee at the orphanage, and then she was Linda Lee Danvers when she was adopted, because the Danvers is adopted. So let me back up a little bit. The lead story, the first of a four-parter that we'll cover the whole thing today, is The Girl with the X-Ray Mind from Action Comics number 295, written by Leo Dorfman, with art by Jim Mooney. Now, they're the creative team on this whole arc that we're going to talk about today. And normally I don't like Leo Dorfman, but this stuff is good.
Yeah, it's interesting that they have to explain what ESP is.
Yeah, well,
by the 70s, everyone knew exactly what ESP was.
Right, but this is like, what, 1962?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Oh my god, I was 11 months old. Oh, man. So, they're watching this ESP guy, but he's actually...
Who is they?
A crook. Oh,
Linda Lee and her boyfriend, and
this other girl.
Yeah, someone else from Smallville. Oh, it's Lena Thorall.
Yeah,
who is Lex Luthor's sister.
Right.
Because the Thoralls, when Lena was very young and Lex was the world famous criminal, they're like, we're changing our names and moving to another town, so no one will associate us with Lex Luthor.
Right.
Because
then they die. So she's an
orphan.
Orphan.
Did she meet Linda at the Smallville orphanage, or the Midvale? Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently so.
Yeah. Because of course she just couldn't be raised by Ma and Pa Kent. Also, she had to be in a different town.
Actually, that'd be kind of smart to do that, I think. Because one thing, less people knowing about her mother, though, Linda's mother, knows she's Supergirl.
Oh, you know why she couldn't? The Kents couldn't? Because in the pre-crisis continuity, the Kents died before Clark went to... they died and then he went to Metropolis. Okay. All the stories we see with them are Superboy stories.
That's
see?
Right.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It's Superman in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, but Linda Lee is Supergirl, doesn't know who Laura is. Lena
Thorall,
so she goes back in 1948 and there's a car wreck and the poor, her parents are dead.
Yeah.
Well, the reason she's doing this is that Lena wants to be an FBI person.
Right.
Agent.
Yeah.
And she's a complete mystery because she has no past. So we can't hire a girl without a past.
So Linda or Supergirl is trying to go and uncover her past to help her get in the FBI.
Yeah, so it comes back, and there's Lex Luthor. He's got his hair, so he's still good.
Yeah.
Bald men are evil.
Well, no, it's you know the story.
I know.
Well, shall I mention it for the?
Yeah, okay.
So, Lex Luthor, when he was young, a young scientist in Smallville, he was good until there was a chemical fire in his laboratory, and Superboy blew the chemicals out, and the fumes burned off Lex's hair. And after that, Lex turned evil and swore revenge forever against Superboy and then Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Lena's in the Lex's laboratory, and she touches this
Space brain that he
Man,
found.
I want a space brain. Can you give me one?
Who wouldn't? And the thing is, all this weird stuff happens in Smallville.
I know, it's kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
The Legion might just show up in a time bubble and take you to the future.
It's like, I think the Simpsons say Springfield has a fun with that, and so much crap happens. And South Park.
Sure.
All this kind of stuff's happened, Mecha Streisand.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's all kinds of stuff happens. So.
Well, it's like, and it's funny because when you're a kid, the town you live in is the center of your universe.
Right.
And so
it'd be cool if something weird happened in your town.
So with South Park, it's all about these kids, and so it's kind of at that level thinking about that. And also DC in the Silver Age are still thinking like, yeah, it's a cycling through just kids every 4 years, reading these. So
yeah,
it makes sense the way they do it.
So, so the FBI finds out that she's Lex Luthor's sister.
Yeah.
So they said, no, we can't have this. So Lena,
who does not know Lex's related
and will not be told, which is kind of morally suspect.
Yeah,
it's a moral dilemma. I can see both sides.
Throughout these stories, Lex, asks Supergirl for help with something and begs to keep the secret. And it's the one time you see the soft side of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Once he's gone evil.
Oh, a few times you see it. Like in his most evil. Well, there's another quote up here later. But Lex is in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a radio out of bed springs and rocks he's found. And crystal, I guess, of course, because it can be crystal. So, and he has a crime radio, which I would love to hear that.
Yeah, the crime scanner radio. I love that.
Yeah. CRIME, with calling Luthor the latest news in the world of crime. And then he finds out that Lena Thorol is in the bank busters.
Oh, that's right. Lena Thorol, she joins up with these bank
Yeah,
robbers. Why?
I mean, she thought she was so nice.
Yeah, and Lex is like, no, this is not good. So he asks the guards to bring in Supergirl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, they comply.
Yeah, I don't know. It was.
Oh, then we get the recap of the why he's bald, because then I see Superboy. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like Lex is being unfair.
Yeah.
He should have had sprinkler system set up.
Right.
Oh, yeah. But we see his family being hounded out of Smallville.
Right.
Bricks were thrown and all that. So, poor people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Luthor asks Supergirl to help out.
It's like, please don't let my sister, turn on the wrong path or whatever, right?
Which is interesting,
Yeah.
He's really concerned. You see a concerned look. Oh,
it's an interesting side of Luthor to see, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of any. I can't see the Joker doing this.
Nope.
Or anybody else.
Dr. Doom would, take matters in his own hands because you never see him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a great Dr. Doom teaming up with Dr. Strange story where they go to hell to battle Mephisto.
Yeah.
For Dr. Doom's mother's soul.
Huh.
And it's awesome.
Wow. Okay, it sounds good.
Yeah, I may have to lend it to you.
Oh, so Lena robs a bank, and then she puts the old switcheroo and makes him into calls Supergirl and they capture her.
Right. It was all a ruse. Lena Thorol pretended because she has ESP, and she pretended to be helping the bank robbers, but it was really to set them up to be captured. And so she could be like, "Look, how about using me now, FBI?" And so that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Let's see. It looks like the same people did this one.
Yeah, no, it's the same creative team. And so, yeah, the next story is the girl who was Supergirl's double from Action Comics number 296. And yeah, it's Leo Dorfman writing and Jim Mooney on art.
So, Linda and her mother are going to get costumes, and so her mother tells her to get some drab, like Pocahontas.
Yeah.
And actually, what is he? Okay, I see. Oh, okay, Joan of Arc, and there's Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
But Pocahontas, which I don't know, that can be pretty hot.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's this rich girl. Oh,
Who's a real snooty pants.
And you get Cleopatra costumes, the most expensive in the store. And
she gets her father to rent like all these expensive jewels for her to wear.
Wow, they actually use a real name, Cartier's.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's a real store.
Wow.
Usually it'd be Cartier or something like that in the comic book.
You know, or instead of Tiffany's, it'd be Stephanie's. You know.
Yeah, actually, I thought I saw that here not too long ago.
Yeah.
So there's a nice costume party. Which I've never been to a costume. I guess you have. So.
Yeah, I have. I had at my 30th birthday party. Was a costume party, and my mom made me my Captain Marvel costume.
Yay!
Yeah.
Good old mom.
Yeah. Some of these panels, they almost look like they could be Wally Wood swipes.
Oh, very
especially
good.
the Cleopatra.
Yeah. And Cleopatra is carried in by slave boys. Oh man! Lena dresses up like
Supergirl.
and Supergirl.
Linda's boyfriend. What's his name? Brad or something.
Yeah.
I think it says in the splash panel.
I'm trying to.
Dang it! I hate dead air.
Dick something.
Dick Malvern. That's right.
And
he lives up to his name.
Yeah. So Superman and Supergirl costumes, they win, and Cleopatra's really mad. Yay! And these astronauts come in and gas everybody.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Yeah, but the real Supergirl comes and knocks their heads together. And then turns back into Pocahontas. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and so because they got wind that the jewels were going to be there, and so they thought they were going to steal them.
The butler told them.
Right, because he would. Yeah, it was a plan.
Mm-hmm. So now Dick is in love with the fake Supergirl, and the real Supergirl is really feeling bad.
Yeah, because he frequently thinks that Linda is Supergirl, but can't prove it. Where have we seen that before? Yeah.
And Lois Lane.
But so as soon as he thinks Lena Thorol is Supergirl, he's like, Linda who? Like, so it's not even about who she is. It's about the superpowers and the.
Yeah. This is goofy, but it's kind of real.
Yeah. And people are this crummy in real life.
Right. And yeah, okay. We got some other stuff with some kryptonite that he thinks that she's Supergirl.
Red kryptonite or?
Or was it green or something like that?
Oh, okay.
But she knocks herself out with the next. There's this. Oh, for crying out loud! Who cares?
I do.
All right. During the fight.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the gas pellets went into a vase and didn't explode. And Linda knocks the vase over, and he knocks over the box with the kryptonite, and the gas pellet explodes. And she's knocked out. Oh, and Dick comes in. Hey, she's knocked out by kryptonite.
Right. I see how that works. Where did the kryptonite come from? Somebody was going to give it as a gift, or he was going to use it to prove that she was Supergirl, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Because it's lying around everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So here comes a plane, and here is Linda as the fifth wheel to Dick and Lena.
Yeah.
And someone jumps out of an airplane without the parachute's not opening, so and then Super Brad fixes it, and Dick thinks that Lena did it. So
of course.
It's pretty cool.
Hey, here's more stuff with Lex Luthor in here.
He's all worried. He's not. It's cool seeing a villain worried, or they're usually scared or mad or conniving or mean or sneering, but worried about somebody else is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, Lex made diamonds, and he made a bunch of diamonds, and they're his diamonds. He made them. It's legal to make diamonds. So,
Yeah.
and he wants to give some to Charity and some to Lena to help her out, so she can ease her financial burden, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So he tells Supergirl where they are, right?
Mm-hmm. And she finds it, gives some to Lena, but doesn't tell where they came from. And she's looking at the diamonds. One falls into the coal bucket, and Dick comes in there. Hey, you're making diamonds out of coal.
You know, by crushing them. Yeah.
Which is not true, supposedly. I don't
Really?
know. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, coal is carbon, and then like with increased pressure.
Yeah, but
it
someone
comes
said
down.
you couldn't do it. I don't know.
Well, you
So-
couldn't do it,
Mhm.
but Superman or Supergirl could do it.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
plus, it's a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So Dick Malvern thinks Lena is Supergirl.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice little advertisement
Oh, how's
for
that?
Teen Titans.
Nice.
And some kind of creepy monster is going after Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith. She's like a girlfriend or supporting character in Teen Titans.
Yeah. Oh, pretty cool title. Cover look. There.
Yeah. So then our next story. We're halfway through this, gang.
Yeah.
This is where it starts to get crazy. Yeah, this is where it really gets nuts. This story is The Forbidden Weapons of Krypton from Action Comics number 297, written by Leo Dorfman, art by Jim Mooney. Man, this is great. It's got the Phantom Zone. It's got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. The same people making them.
Yeah.
Um,
I mentioned.
So we see the diamonds going there, and we see that Lena. Okay, Dick sees diamond out of the coal bucket, and so he asks her, "Are you Supergirl?" And she says, "Yes, I am." And Supergirl hears that, and she's mad.
Of course.
So
just for a little context, Superman happens to be on a mission in the past, so he's gone through the time barrier and he's not there.
oh yeah.
That's important later.
All right. So this really mean-looking blonde from
From the bottom city of Kandor, Lesla Lar, another LL.
Right. She has really jagged blonde hair.
Yeah.
So we got 3 blondes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And real
So-
blondes too.
So Lesla Lar has split ends.
Is that it?
That's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah, dude. Okay. She figures out how to get out. Supposedly they destroyed her laboratory, but apparently they didn't.
Yeah, she was a young evil scientist girl or something.
Hmm. So she brings Lena
Yeah.
to Kandor, and she, because the only way she can get out is
To switch with somebody else. And then once Lesla Lar is out, I think she uses, because she's in the Fortress of Solitude,
Hmm.
she uses the Phantom Zone projector to select Phantom Zone criminals to help her conquer the world or something.
Hmm.
Right?
Right. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she looks like Lena,
Right.
and she says God, this is so crazy. She shows Linda that she has superpowers now.
Right, because this is Lesla Lar, and of course she does, because she's Kryptonian.
Yeah, she gives some kind of lame story to Supergirl.
And Supergirl's confusicated, and then Lesla Lar creates a cool costume for herself.
It is cool.
Yeah, and then she's interviewing Phantom Zone criminals to come with, and she selects General Zod, Jaxer, and Crew L. So he must be like Superman's uncle or something.
Yeah, the bad side. Mon-El tries to get out, but she stops him with a left.
I know Mon-El, our pal from the Legion, or who would join the Legion later, who is not Kryptonian, but a native of the planet Daxam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and vulnerable to
I've
lead.
never heard it. Yeah, Jaxer sounds familiar. General Zod, of course. Is one of my
Jaxer is another major Phantom Zone criminal, let me put it that way.
favorites. Mhm.
I think in the movie Superman 2,
Yeah, which is fantastic.
I know, but Non is is supposed to be kind of like Jaxer, but not very good. Like he doesn't talk and stuff. And then whatever I can't remember what
Girl, I don't know.
I don't remember the chick's name, but it was supposed to be like Feora.
Yeah, but all three are gold in the movie. They're great.
Yeah, I think I like comic book Feora better than movie Feora,
I haven't
but
seen that one, but I don't know.
because they are different characters. Later, they introduced Non and I can't remember that chick's name
Okay.
as different characters, but originally they were like, oh, it's Jaxer and Feora, but
Yeah. Oh, her split end's fixed, but she looks like Lena now. So.
yeah. So anyway, each of the Phantom Zone criminals like has access to like creating these like super weapons or whatever. He knows where they are, because they probably all have each escaped once before and been thwarted by Superman.
Okay, they got this disintegrator gun.
Yeah.
And they'll work on Superman and Supergirl. So they draw straws and test on the one who draws the shortest straw.
And so Leslie Lar does, and so they kill her.
Yeah, they turn into an atomic mist. But
So
the
that's-
gun short circuits us. So
They can't use it again.
yeah, so
That was the way to write Leslie Lar out of the story.
yeah, I thought that was kind of because I liked her, and it
Yeah.
should have been a fight between her and Supergirl. But
Right? But now it's three Phantom Zone criminals out to destroy the world, and one of them creates a device that traps the Legion in the future and keeps Superman from
Yeah.
being able to return
But-
through the time barrier.
But that the gun made an earthquake and sent up Atlantis.
Right.
So she gets this big scoop, and everyone's is
Oh, that's right.
drowning in air.
Right,
You know,
and then we
like
see
that's
Lori Lamaris.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they have the time barrier. So
Right.
Supergirl can't get out. Superman cannot get in.
Yeah, and the Legion can't come from the future to help.
Mhm.
Which, boy, they'd be really, they'd be perfect to stop three Phantom Zone criminals, really.
Yeah. So she throws some stuff at him, and it does no good. I'm not sure why she did this. And then, who is this? Cruel
I think
touches
so.
his belt.
Yeah, it's
and,
Cruel.
and she hits the plant scourge. So
Yeah.
every time she gets near to animal, they turn into plants.
Right, so she can't do anything. So she needs to call upon the help of Lex Luthor. He's the only one that can help her. Because apparently she can't get, like, the Justice League or anything.
Right.
But,
Mhm. Yeah. Couldn't she call Batman?
what
Or
is
the
he going to
Flash?
be able to do?
He might have something. Or
Yeah,
the Flash.
The Flash, I mean, Batman and the Flash are both scientists.
Or Green Lantern.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
did Dorfman forget there's a Justice League?
Yeah.
You know? But they've got the bases covered with the Legion and Superman nicely. So just the Superman mythology, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
So Supergirl tells Lex what's going on, and he has this nice little speech. Supergirl, I'm against truth, justice, and everything else you stand for. But to save Lena, I promise to use my last atom of brain power to help you against those Kryptonian goons.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty cool. So we have the next and final part of this. This is great, though.
Oh.
It's called The Superpowers of Lex Luthor.
Man.
This is great.
Oh.
It's from Action Comics number 298. Same creative team.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fantastic.
this is comic gold, baby.
Yeah. 1963, and no one can come in. The Superman is stymied, as is the Legion.
Man, and we get a nice panel where we see Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, and Lightning Lad.
Mm-hmm.
The
Another blonde. We got lots of blondes.
yeah. So what's the plan here? What's Supergirl?
So Luthor is going to talk. She tells Luthor to talk to the warden. But the warden says no. So he's stuck in prison. But one of the bad guys, I guess Cruel with his magic belt.
Yeah. Notice
Um,
Zod is not the leader in this.
Yeah.
It's Cruel.
Mm-hmm. So he gives him superpowers. So we see, man, Luthor loves this.
Oh, of course.
And he gets shot at, and he burns some guns with his
And it's
vision.
cool to see him fly and bust out of prison. It's
Mhm.
great.
And he gets a
He designs a costume for himself.
yeah, I don't
And
know
he-
who that is.
Who? That's Cruel.
No, the costume, the guy.
Oh,
There's a statue.
it's
of
just
guy.
some alien costume.
And
he modifies it and turns it into his Lex
and
Luthor
he's going to
costume.
make a cape and it'll dye green.
Right. And he busts out of the Superman Museum and smashes a statue of Superman.
Yeah, man.
He's loving it.
So, so we get the fight against, the arguments in the evil
Of course,
group.
because
That's
all
cool.
supervillains have to argue. One of them has got this great... Cruel has this great mental helmet that can create real illusions. So there's this giant spider that's like tearing up palm trees and stuff. And it looks
Yeah, it's a
rad.
reptilian spider.
I don't know
I'm not
what's
sure.
reptilian about it. It's
Yeah.
a big old spider.
Yeah.
They got to add reptilian to make it weird and Kryptonian.
Yeah. So we get
He also has this device that makes you like devolve or go back into time
a
temporarily.
million years or whatever, and these Marines come in and they turn into cavemen, and I don't think they'd mind that much.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think Lex Luthor doesn't want to play second fiddle to the Phantom Zone criminals, so they start fighting.
yeah. Let's see. They're looking and they're checking out what's going on. So they're going to take. What they want to do is get some gold kryptonite.
Oh, right. So they
Yeah.
can take away Supergirl's powers forever, and then no one will be able to.
Yeah,
Even
but
though they've given her that thing that makes it impossible for her to fight them, basically.
well, yeah, she can't get near people, so now and she's weak.
And the plant scourge. That's right.
Yeah. So he builds this tower and gets
Luthor does.
yeah.
Okay.
It's huge. Yeah. Sorry. But they're talking about the bad guys. Or talk about Luthor and say, we'll use gold kryptonite on him. And Luthor, of course, has super hearing. Duh.
Yeah. Duh. Love it. And so he hears on this double cross, and so he's gonna double cross them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a triple cross.
Yeah. And the tower gets this gold kryptonite, and everyone is apparently Supergirl and Lex Luthor are weak due to it. And let's see what happens. And does Superman come
Later?
Yeah, oh, she's given Morse code by Supergirl. Supergirl gives Morse code message to Superman, and he collapses. But too late apparently, because he collapses because of gold kryptonite.
Except it wasn't real gold kryptonite. It was a fake.
Right.
To fake out to get the element of surprise against the Phantom Zone criminals, right?
Mm-hmm. And there's a Phantom ray gun. And, she uses the helmet. Supergirl does to make
The illusion helmet.
Make a Phantom ray gun
Right.
and sends them back to the Phantom Zone.
Oh, the Phantom Zone projector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And,
right. It gets kind of confusing.
Yeah. So yeah. So the belt goes back into the Phantom. Oh, it gets crushed.
Oh, the belt that gave Luthor his powers.
And gives her plant skirt.
I forgot that it was a belt that gave him powers. I couldn't remember what gave him powers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then they find a way to get Lena Thorol. They use a Supergirl robot to switch places with Lena Thorol and get her out of the Bottle City of Kandor.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's cool again, right?
Yeah. Everything's fine.
It's pretty funny to see Superman carrying Lex Luthor like a baby back to prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's. I'll go back to prison if you save Lena from the bottle candle.
He's like, it's a deal. I was going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Or Luthor.
All right. At the very end, we have all these. Supergirl, the new Supergirl. Man, I don't like her new costume, but she's asking for costume ideas from the readers.
Yeah, and it's like a 3-page deal, and there's all these reader submissions of new costumes, and Mike Sikowski did the art.
Yeah,
I
that's
recognize the
pretty cool.
style. I'm like,
I don't like the way Supergirl looks. She looks.
But the problem is, these costumes, it's like, they're just the costumes, most of them, instead of drawing Supergirl in them. You don't get a really good idea of what.
No,
how
I
it
don't
look.
like what Supergirl's costume is now. Apparently, the
really high boots.
The hooker boots now, I think. And
all right, this is a reprint that was published in the 70s
mhm.
of like '60s stories.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
mind the disembodiness of it. That's cool. Some of them are okay. There's something called knicker trend, and what in the world's knickers?
I thought
The
knickers
new
were.
knicker trend. I thought that was like underwear or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I thought, but I don't know.
Or maybe it's a full body thing. So, but then
I don't know, man.
understand. Some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some interesting costume ideas. It'd be nice to see them
Hmm
realized just to get a better idea. But
it's kind of a cool competition, and
yeah,
wouldn't it be cool if you sent something in and a professional comic book artist would draw your design?
no, yeah, that would be a great thrill. No, and this happened all the time in the pages of Katie Keene, which was kind of a girls' comic.
Mhm.
I can't remember who published Katie Keene, but
Somebody really keen, I'm sure.
yeah, it was probably like Harvey Comics or one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our books for this week.
All right.
What did we learn, Jeff?
Wow. Oh, we gotta find out what we got next week.
Oh, you're not gonna. You're stalling now.
Lex Luthor is a cool guy for a master criminal.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man in the Golden Age is wonderful. And his Golden Age.
His Golden Age, which is the Silver Age.
All right. Can you make it more confusing?
I could try.
And yeah, this is all gold.
Yeah, this was a great episode.
Even the pace by Pete was fun.
Yes.
But it was bad. But
Yeah.
God,
So I think you're gonna have a blast next
All right.
week, Jeff. because
okay, Spider-Man.
We got more Spidey.
Yeah.
It's the end of our Marvel Tales reprints, though.
Oh.
We're coming to an end with that, but we'll have 2 full-length Spider-Man thrillers in next week, as well as 2 issues of Marvel Team Up with Spidey, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. So we got the Amazing Spider-Man, and Once Upon a Time there was a robot.
Yeah,
Hmm.
another robot. Yeah. So
Spidey, and the next one is Spidey and the Inhumans together.
yeah, and the Werewolf by Night.
Huh. I never read any of those. So.
Oh well.
Oh my God! Yeah, Superman and the Supergirl from Krypton.
Yes,
Yay.
we have it's a one-shot reprint called Superheroes Battle Supergorillas, and it's Superman, the Flash, and Batman against gorillas, and more Silver Age Superman.
And
for
we're just
you.
talking about the Greco-Roman.
I know. I was
mythology.
like, oh, Jeff's gonna love this.
Yeah. I had not. This is the first time I've seen these.
Okay, so yes, Superman number 148 is gonna. The lead story is the 20th century Achilles.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought it was pronounced Achilles.
Yeah, well, because as kids we'll do things.
Well, and I do that too. You know, I gotta. How do you pronounce that? I just make up a pronunciation.
Sure.
And then you keep pronouncing. You think it's right. Then you make a total idiot of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and the last one.
and more Silver Age Superman. Yeah,
And the 1 minute of doom.
yeah, which is pretty cool.
Someone saying we're doomed. Oh no.
What could it be?
Oh man. Crypto looking sad. I'm
Yep.
worried.
So
No, that's bad.
we're gonna have a blast next week, and I hope you'll come back and listen. And yeah,
Okay.